Hello, this is Chris Kobe with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide or listening to our podcast. We're here today to talk with candidates running in the May 19, 2026 primary election. We are grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Sailing Foundation, the Weiss Foundation, the Sarah Fruing Foundation, members of the League of Women Voters of Portland, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me is Kristine Almquist, running for the position of Circuit Court Position 14, which is in Multnomah County. Welcome, Ms. Almquist.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Let's start with the basics, which is tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this office.
Yes, absolutely. A little bit of background on me. I've lived in Multnomah County since 2004, and specifically in Multnomah Village since 2012, raising my teenage son in Multnomah Village. And a little bit of further background, which is when I first moved to Portland area in 2004, I worked as a legal assistant and paralegal for quite a few years, including the years when I started law school at Lewis and Clark. And then I was fortunate enough in 2008 to be able to obtain employment at Multnomah Defenders, which is a public defense firm here in Portland and their juvenile division. So as a legal assistant and law clerk beginning in 2008, I worked with 3 attorneys, providing them assistance in advocating for parents and children involved in child welfare cases, open dependency cases. Then after graduating law school, I immediately was able to step into the role of an advocate, an attorney, where I practiced for almost 11 years doing the same type of work, juvenile dependency work, as an attorney and an advocate. From there, then I now became in my current position, which is a full-time juvenile hearings referee and judge pro tem. I've been doing that since October of 2021. And, in Multnomah County, we have 38 elected judges that sit at our downtown courthouse, 11 of those designated as family law judges. As mentioned, position 14 is one of those designated positions. And our family law judges have 5 juvenile hearings referees that support that docket and that bench. And I'm one of those 5 referees. So I sit full-time out at the Juvenile Justice Complex hearing juvenile dependency matters and juvenile delinquency matters, young people involved in juvenile justice. And then because Multnomah County is a one family, one judge county, I also hear custody matters or other matters that may affect the families that I serve through the juvenile dependency and delinquency matters. So that is my current position. I've been there for 4.5 years, and I believe that kind of that progression from every level of the legal system leads me to be qualified to step into the role of position 14 on day one.
As you point out, position 14 has been designated as a courtroom to handle the family law docket as opposed to general civil and criminal cases. Can you describe what the most significant considerations would be for you as a judge in custody cases?
Absolutely. And it's the same in every case for me, which is I receive facts, evidence, argument, and apply that to the relevant law in every case and for every litigant that comes before me. With regard to custody cases, in juvenile dependency, we decide custody also, whether it's to one parent or another, when we're looking at child safety, or even having to decide to give custody to child welfare, to ODHS, when we are working with parents to hopefully help them become safe parenting resources for their children. When we're talking about domestic relations cases on the family law bench, same as you apply that information to the relevant law, there's a statutory scheme of custody factors in our Oregon statutes that we must follow along with case law. So it's just going back to those basics and always following the law and then applying that fairly to everyone who's before me.
You are listening to the Video Voters Guide interview and podcast of Kristine Almquist, who is running for the office of Circuit Court Judge, position 14. The next question I have for you is, what are the significant considerations for you as a judge in dealing with self-represented litigants?
It's a great question because many litigants in domestic relations and family law, be it a person seeking a protection order, family law judges hear the protection order docket, maybe a child, they're looking for an immediate danger order or any other custody and parenting time order. Self-represented litigants deserve to have their information presented to the judge just as any person who has an attorney. So what I do in my practice or try to do is help to lead those self-represented litigants procedurally in a way to where they are able to get all the information to me that they seek to provide. Because that's the most important piece, is that they are able to be treated with fairness and that they have that full access to getting the information to the judge. A judge only can make the best decision they can make based upon the information and evidence that they have. And so I think it's just really important to take the time and the space for self-represented litigants to make sure that they are able to present their case fully. I fully believe that litigants are, whether they have attorneys or not, are in charge of their cases. And so that's always the goal, is to help them to provide what they need to provide so I can make the best decision for them.
I think we have time for one more question. What would be the most significant considerations for you as a judge in dealing with child witnesses?
Absolutely, and that can be a really delicate situation. In juvenile dependency proceedings, child witnesses are not super common, but it does happen when there's times where children need to testify at a trial or even in just one of our hearings. Of course, same goes if we're talking about a domestic relations matter as well. As I said, I'm a firm believer in letting litigants prepare their cases and present them as they see fit. And sometimes they choose that child witnesses need to be available. And so what I do in my courtroom is just try and make sure that we're making whatever accommodation is necessary, make the child witness feel comfortable. Sometimes the litigants will prepare ahead of time along with my staff to see if maybe a parent won't be in the courtroom. There's all sorts of things that we can do if there needs to be a child witness to help them feel more comfortable to be there presenting information to the judge. And I'm always happy and willing to prepare ahead of time with that, and then to hopefully make that child who's in my courtroom be able to get through that experience in the best way possible, maybe in not an ideal circumstance.
This concludes our Video Voters Guide and podcast interview of the League of Women Voters of Portland of Kristine Almquist, running for the office of Circuit Court Judge, position 14. Election Day is Tuesday, May 19. To find additional election resources, including online identifications of other candidates and ballot measures on which you may be able to vote, please visit the League of Women Voters of Portland's website, lwvpdx.org, and vote411.org, and then exercise your right to vote. Ballots will be mailed out starting on April 30. For your vote to be eligible to be counted, your ballot must be received by the Multnomah County Elections Division or in one of the designated ballot drop boxes in Multnomah County not later than 8 p.m. on Election Day. We strongly recommend that if you are depositing your ballot with the United States Postal Service, you do so no later than Tuesday, May 12, 1 week before Election Day. Your voice and your vote matter. Thank you for your interest.